Welcome to the 2350 Effect.
Well, it is Sunday, and welcome to the 2350 Effect, the first 2350 Effect of the 2026 new year. I'm your co-host, collaborator, and co-founder of the 2350 Effect 2350 Network, the Virtual Wellness Experience, the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit collaborator, Damian Kinsey, and I'm joined as always with Dr. Tanya Farron. Dr. Tanya, tell everybody about all the stuff you do and introduce yourself a little bit more.
Good evening, Damien. But your list of titles is just growing and growing and growing and growing, isn't it? It's just getting longer and longer. It's great. I absolutely love it. I am Tanya Farron. I am the owner of Creative Living Ideas, where we host some pretty amazing professional development, including 2 large events a year, one coming up March 2026. I also am the author of 9 different books, a few self-care journals, and my baby, it's called Raising the Well-Adjusted Child, a Parent's Manual. And then I also host parent-to-parent sessions on Mondays and do all sorts of other things with parents. But I'm also the co-host of the 2350 Effect, co-founder of the 2350 Network with Damian Kinsey, and love collaborating with him on all of these amazing, amazing platforms and events. And tonight, I'm excited about our guest. I'm getting to know. I can't wait tonight. I can't wait. So I'm excited.
Yes, I'm excited as well. Those people out there, thanks for joining us. Christy, as always, who's a 2350 Network member. Annie, thank you for joining us. Leslie Flowers, who's a 2350 Network member. Thank you for joining Nick, who's a 2350 Network member as well. John, so many other people out there. Please throw in where you're from, where you're at. Linda as well, new edition of 2350 Network. Al, who has hosted and worked with us the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit, and so many people. And we'll continue to greet people as they come into the room. And we have a guest tonight. This is one of these guests who I've always wanted to have on here. Once we started this, I told people one of my the biggest guests who I wanted to have on. I always wanted to do one with Dr. Farron and her kids. I had the pleasure and joy to do that with Annika and Lexi and Dr. Farron, and host a live and have a conversation around that as well. And our guest worked in the tech industry, has done a lot of stuff in communication, professional development, coaching, working with leadership teams and so many different levels of companies, organizations, school systems, collegiate level, has working on professional development retreats with C-suite level individuals. She fosters and builds the human connection. Her whole thing is about the end human connection. I had the pleasure to work under her for about a year before I transitioned back into where I'm at now. She is if you ever met her, she's such a great individual to talk to. She is the creator of the Traveling Table series. She has these cards where you talk about curiosity, understanding, and she's also a dog mom. Meet Lia James.
Hi, it's so good to be here. Thank
It
you
is
for
definitely
having me.
great to have you because this is definitely one of those conversations when I told Dr. Farron that you were one of the list of people about 2 years ago when we started this, that I've wanted to have this conversation with you. It's long overdue, but it's always at the right time. So welcome and thank you for coming to the 2350 Effect.
I'm so honored to be here. It's been incredible to see what you all have built and how it's evolved over time, like from the idea of it to where it is now. I definitely think people need outlets like what you all have created. So thank you for having me.
Thank you. And Leah, we always kind of start this show off with thank you so many people for joining us. As you always know, we start off with a laugh, a call, a text. Laugh, call, text is that thing in the last 7 days that made you laugh out loud, decide to get up on the phone and pick your phone up and say, hey, I'm going to call someone, or just text them. So I'll start off with laugh, call, text. So my laugh, call, text of my 2026 year, which was actually last Sunday. I text Dr. Farron that I was at the Raiders game watching her Kansas City Chiefs play at the Raiders game. So I was in Vegas for vacation, and I went to see the game. And that was my laugh, call, text. I texted Dr. Farron myself at the Raiders Chiefs game.
That was so awesome. I believe it did not turn out very well for the Chiefs. I don't think they've had a good season, correct?
No, it didn't turn out well for them.
I believe I was on the couch next to my husband and I was like, oh, look where Damien is. He's like, how did he get tickets to that game? So he said, I think those tickets are hard to come by. So we were pretty excited for you, Damien, when that text came through with the picture of you being in the stadium. That was
a very nice stadium. I was glad to go.
It looked pretty cool. I'm happy that you got to go. I was very happy for that for you. That was going to be my laugh, color, text, but don't worry. In this day and age, I have plenty of texts to choose from. Right. I will have to say probably one of my best texts. We just had another couple come out here and stay with us where we're at in Florida for the last 4 days, and, got the text that they had arrived home safely. So we were very grateful that, you people are traveling. You always worry about their safety, and they arrived home safely, and we just had a really great trip with them, and everything just was fun. So grateful for that. That text that I got today. Absolutely.
That is really, really
Leah, how about you? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking that was just really, really sweet. I think those touches are so nice. Okay, so mine's a little bizarre, but it's pretty funny. It actually just happened just a couple days ago. I was in need of some aspirin or something to like kill a major headache that was going on. And my mom is this very homeopathic, like has this book that she lives by that I was raised on. And so she flips open her book and she's going through her book and she texts me. Evidently, she was at home in tears laughing as well, but she texts me 3 different concoctions that were supposed to be like homeopathic aspirin. Each one had a recipe with vodka in it. And we were just dying laughing because it's like this health conscious, like herbal concoction book. And all of a sudden, all 3 of these things, anyway, we were both crying, laughing at the fact that this was not going to help what I needed for my headache. I mean, maybe it would, but a different kind of help.
It might have. You never know.
It might have. Maybe that's a secret. It's, it's that potato vodka. I don't know. It was really, we got a good solid laugh out of it. Also, my mom and I don't drink, so like that also was very entertaining.
That is funny. That is so funny. Oh my gosh. I bet you did have a good laugh at that.
We were both crying, laughing.
I guess it's like those old recipes, right? Of the grandmas saying that they, take this shot of this to get rid of the cough or right.
Yeah. Well, that's what we were laughing about. She was like, I don't remember this being in this book. Like, I do not remember these options in here. So that's pretty
funny.
Cool to go back and forth on.
Funny. I love it.
So Leah, I always got the question around Inhuman when I worked under you, and people always wanted to know what it is, and they thought it was a typo, the "and" part and the "human" part. So tell people a little bit about Inhuman and why the "and" sign connects to the H.
Yeah. And human is a space where it's a reminder that at the end of the day, we're all human, and we're all connected in some way, shape, or form. That ampersand is, in my opinion, this like um, visual connection reminder. There's a lot of things that come out of that, and right, like it's and this and that and this, but at the end of it, you're still human. So, I'm a really visual person, and I think everything is it's important to be intentional with each piece. So yes, those things are connected very intentionally. And I know that it can be confusing for SEO and all those other things, but that ampersand, I think, was really important for us when we were branding the business, to remind people what we were doing and what we were always going to come back to, every single time.
Thank you. I love that. It's always a great conversational piece when I'm talking to people about it, because they're like, "What's inhuman?" And then when you're explaining it to people, oh, I get it. And so I think it's
Yeah.
so important to have that conversation that we're human on top of all the other things we're I know people are moms, people are dads, people are electricians, people are doctors, lawyers, teachers. But at the end of the day, on top of all those things, we're human as well.
Yeah, I think, it's so easy for us to get caught up, and we're moving so fast in everything that we're doing. So I think I try really hard to remind people that it's so important to slow down. And we're actually going to get a visit from my dog in a second. He does not like me not next to him this time of night. So we might be moving. We might be taking him outside in a second. We'll see how he does. Anyway, Sammy has entered the room. But I really do try to remind people that slowing down and being like present with yourself, with other people, with what's around you is so hard and so important. And no matter what titles you have going on, there's so much underneath of that most people don't know about, or most people don't have context to. And so sometimes I find that people miss each other in conversations, or they're saying the same things, but not saying the same things. So yeah, I really think that reminder is important for all of us, me included.
Yes, I love that. I think that's so important. Human connection.
Yeah.
It's a very clever title also for your company.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like that. I like that. So you just said that Sammy was joining the space.
Yes.
Tell us about Sammy.
Sammy is the man of the house. He is an old senior dog. He's not that old. He's 9.5. And I rescued him 2 years ago, or he rescued me. I'm not really sure which. He definitely chose me. I went to go foster a dog that I was expecting to be like maybe 30 pounds. He is 72 pounds, and he jumped right into my car, and he has never jumped into another car again. And I just love him to death. Like yeah, I didn't know how badly I needed him in my life, or a dog in my life, but he brightens it all the time. He definitely has trained me more than I've trained him. But he's grumpy to most people on the outside. I think he scares a lot of people. He's a Staffordshire. I was just telling Damien before we hopped on, I was at my brother's house today. He has 4 kids, and Sammy either loves children or like older people. So like grandparents. He doesn't love anyone in between. And we have a newborn in the family, and he went right up to the newborn and licked his face. And I shouldn't have allowed that to happen. I was distracted by other things, but of course all the adults were like, no, and like swooped up the child. But Sammy is a wannabe nanny, and he just wants to be with all the children all the time.
I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't either. He chooses the good humans, but yeah, I love him. He's my little world.
That is cool. That's really fun. I do believe that dogs pick you. You know, my
Yeah.
husband, there's a story where our dog had passed a few years
Oh, I'm
ago, but
sorry.
he was with us for 14 years and he was on a job site of my husband's and jumped in his truck. Same thing. Followed him
Wow.
around all the time, probably because my husband was feeding him his lunches, and then just jumped in his truck and said, I'm going home with you.
Yeah. Well, that's like Sammy, like evidently nothing from that day that I met him, he has not acted like that ever. Like he like jumped up on the person he was fostering and like that dog can't get on his back heels, but it's so funny when they choose you. You're like, okay, all right, let's do life now. Let's do this.
I love that. I
That's
do.
so
I love it.
sweet.
It is cool. It is cool. He was an amazing dog for all those years and just he lived a charmed life, let me tell you.
Aw.
So what's the craziest thing your dog has done on camera?
Well, I don't know that it's the craziest thing, but I will say it's embarrassing when it happens. He has an old man snore and he likes to be next to me at all times. He is definitely a Velcro dog. And when I first got him, I wasn't used to having a dog, so I didn't really know what to do. But he will snore while I'm on calls because he just is so lulled to sleep or something. And I can't tell you how many people have thought that I'm like next to like a human snoring because he sounds like a person. It's so embarrassing every time. Yeah, he's a
That's
loud,
awesome.
loud snorer.
That is so funny. We don't have any more pets in our home, but I do have 4 grand dogs that I do dog
Aw.
watch. So Damien has met, I think you've met all of the dogs, Damien. They have been in camera at some point in time or coming up to my lap like, Grandma, time to get off the camera. Let's go. Go have snacks. You know, so I love those animals.
They do tell you when it's time to get off screen.
They do. They're like,
They're like,
pay
we're done.
attention to me.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I love
That's
that. I
cute.
could talk about pets all day long. I love
Me
them.
too.
They're amazing, amazing, amazing. But I'll let Damien go ahead with the next question.
No, we definitely could talk about pets all day long. Lee, I know you're like a big traveler and traveling is your thing. During one of your traveling times and you came back, well, you actually did it out there. So you traveled and then came back and you like kind of built this table. Can you tell us about the traveling table and what's that about?
Yeah, absolutely.
How that came
So
about?
the traveling table came about actually traveling. I've always been nomadic. I mean, like from teenage years, I was like, I'm going to go do a road trip around the country in a convertible. I did not do that. I've never done that. But that was my big dream. And as soon as I could, I did do a road trip around the country and just kind of like crashed with friends of friends, did the thing. So in 2020, I had a medical trauma. I had a detached retina that went 2 months before I got repaired because of COVID. And then when I got it repaired, there was more medical trauma. I blame all of it on just like the circumstances of COVID, but essentially my anesthesia did not work and I felt the majority of my surgery. So I have muscle damage in my right eye. And it took me a really long time to recover. I will always have some form of chronic pain, but as far as I know, I see normally. And there's like complications, but at the time in 2020, when this happened, my fight or flight kicked in and I just kept going. And I'm not really sure how I worked at the time. Like I think back to that time period and it's all pretty much a blur. And I don't know what I was doing, but I just kept going. And about 9 months in, I hit a wall and I was just like, I need to stop. Otherwise I'm going to injure myself again. Because I'd end the days in tears and because I was in physical pain. But so I paused and I took a 6-month sabbatical and I just did some like fun things around the house or my mom's house at the time. I was working with her on, she had just had her house rehabbed. And I had been teaching myself woodworking long before all of this happened. But so I started kind of playing. I wasn't really sure what I could do. I couldn't really work in the same ways I was used to with like my hands and woodworking. But I had this slab of wood that I'd been holding on to for a long time. dreams of this beautiful dining room table, but never a place for it. And at this point, we're into the summer of 2021, and I was pretty stir crazy because of just being still with the pandemic and then being hyper isolated with my eye. I couldn't drive for a really long time, and I'd been driving at this point for a little while, but I decided that I needed to go. I needed to, one, prove to myself that I could still be independent. Two, I could still go on long distance drives, which were like kind of my like safe haven. Like that was like where I was at the calmest, where I felt home is when I'm in the car, when I'm on the road. And so in October of 2021, I loaded up a trailer with this big slab of wood. And when I say big, Damien has seen it. Damien has sat at the table. It is a 8-foot long, 3-inch thick slab of red oak. And it is probably about 170 pounds. So I wasn't pulling it in and out by myself, though I tried. But I loaded in a trailer, went around the country with a few theories. One, I did it for myself to figure out, how do I show up in the world without my work? How do I show up in the world and reconnect with people, and like figure out what this new future is? Because I wasn't sure I could go back to work. And then the biggest one was, I felt like I had a lot of compassion and empathy because I traveled so much prior to the pandemic. And I was watching so much hate unfold. Not that it wasn't there before, just it was showing itself in a different way. And because I was so isolated, I was so deep in it on social media and all those things. And so I felt like, well, if I could bring this table out and bring strangers together around a table and expose them to people who they might not interact with in any other way, could I help deepen empathy and compassion for other people because they get exposed to new things that they wouldn't have in a similar way that I did, but they don't have to go anywhere for it. I'm bringing people to them. And it actually kind of worked. I traveled for 4 months with this table, and you see a tiny 5'4" person pulling out this huge, thick piece of wood and asking for help. You ask, like, wait, what's going on over here? And that's honestly how I brought people together to start. And it wasn't a thing before. It was literally just, again, for me. And when I moved back to Baltimore, when I came back, I bought a house and I met someone who pitched to me, let's produce this. Let's make this a show, and let's help spread it to people who wouldn't be ready to come to the table, or don't want to come to the table, or can't come to the table. And so we produced a pilot in 2023. And the goal was, again, where we would focus on the table. The few people that came around the table, there were usually 6 of us, and the table can hold up 10, but when we filmed, it was about 6 of us. And could we focus on how we bring that table together based on certain commonalities, but also the differences? We were going for people from different age groups, different socioeconomic backgrounds, people with different career experience, career levels, and then model that to other people to say, oh, I hadn't thought of that, or I'd never heard of something like that. And then we've just kind of been moving ever since. We did pause for a while, but that's essentially what it is. We are creating intimate experiences for people to connect with folks that they might not connect with otherwise. We're teaching skills for communication, collaboration, connection, and using a lot of my background in workforce development and organizational development, leadership development. So you're finding a lot of behavioral psychology that's coming into this, but creating a very accessible experience for people to meet each other and take those experiences on with them beyond what we're doing at the table. Sorry, that was a lot.
That is so cool.
Thank you.
First, I'm just going to say that just kind of sums it up for me. Like, that is so cool. And I remember I'm sitting here reflecting now, thinking about, and all these pieces are coming together of when I first, met Damien, probably in 23 time period. And I remember the video of him at your table.
Ah, that was such a really cool dinner. I had never met Damien in person. We'd only known each other digitally. And actually, Damien, I don't know if you know this, I met you when I was on that road trip. The very first time I had just made it to the West Coast when we talked, and like when we met, when we were introduced for some project. Oh, it was when I was working with the youth employment programs. But yeah, so that dinner that you're talking about was the very first time that Damien and I got to meet in person after working and collaborating together for 2-ish years. So that's really cool.
That is really cool. Really, really cool. And I'm sorry about the health issues with the eye. That's so scary and horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. If anyone ever sees flashes, it like looks like a flash, just went off. Go to the doctor immediately. Do not hesitate. These are very repairable. They're actually very common, especially as you get older. But I just didn't have any reason to know that I would, I didn't have a head injury. I don't know. There's a lot of things. Anyway, yes. If you have flashes, go to the eye doctor immediately.
Yes, that is true. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Good to
And we do have a question. I think this question might be from both of you and I, because I had my own table experience. What were things that you learned personally from your table experience? Do you want to go first?
No, I want you to go first.
Okay. So my table experience was kind of the first time coming out of the pandemic. That is the first time I sat in a room without a mask. So I learned it was kind of scary for me because I've always wore a mask and I had 2 masks walking into a room. What I learned about it is that the thing about Lia is she brought us in this room. She said, "Hey Damien, do you want to kind of do this and whatnot?" I was like, "All right, I got you. Whatever you need. When is it?" So she's like, "All right, we're gonna set it up." So I come there. We're sitting in a living room having this conversation, and it's about 4 or 5 people there, and we're talking. And Dr. Farron, you met Lanisha, so it's myself and Lanisha and a few other people there. We're having a conversation. We're talking, and then we get to the table, and the table's like a dinner with food, and it's being filmed, and then these cards are on the table, and you get to pick one card, and you kind of hold this it's like curiosity spades. So you hold the card, and then you have the conversation around. In the course of the conversation, we found out that we're all in some form or level of education and childcare services. So she put these 5 strangers inside the room to have these conversations, and we didn't know what we did. And that was the biggest caveat around the conversation. It couldn't really gear towards what you actually did for a living. So back then I was working in community services in DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and inside the school system on truancy reduction. So we were talking, we were having conversations, and we were just learning so many things about each other personally that had nothing to do with our jobs. And then we ended up finding out that we all similarly worked in a level of education in some shape, form, and fashion. So that was the cool part about it. And I still have relationships with the people from that table conversation. So that's what I learned about myself was being able to get out of my own fear in my own head and being able to understand that you can have a conversation with people in a business setting / environment, social environment, without even talking about your job at all.
Yeah, I think that knowing you still have relationships with people from that table is my favorite thing. Like when I hear from people from your table and other tables that they've connected or they're still connecting, I don't know, that makes me really happy and excited because it means like it worked, right? Like it's not, I think to the question about like what's the thing you learned about yourself? Or what's the thing you learned from the experience? For me, it's like you can host something, you can put something together, and it doesn't have to be about you, because like I'm not someone who wants to be in the center. Um, I like creating, I like curating, I like pulling people together. I always have. Um, but like the fact that like you all go on and it has nothing to do with me is so cool. Like you mentioned Lanisha, like Lanisha's connected with people from other dinners, which I also think is cool. Like I didn't know until I think a year later, she mentioned somebody. I was like, wait, how do you know that person? She was like, oh, I saw them on the dinner. And I figured they're my people. I'm gonna go talk to them. Like that, just like that's what I want. Like that's the whole point, right? Like come meet some people that you would have no other reason to meet, but you should know. You absolutely should know these people. So I feel really, I'm so honored that that's how that's still going for you, Damien. And I did not know until after the dinner that you had never been unmasked since the pandemic. And I sat him in the middle of the table between people. So it really, really, means so much that you said yes and that you came and then you just like trusted the process. Yeah, that's really, really special.
Thank you. And then to your point, like then Lanisha and Portia were cool with each other, and they met each other in Cal. They knew each other already, and they like connected in California. And they was like, I know Damien, I know Damien. That's just the whole thing about the whole table experience and what it was for me. Is continuing knowing people, knowing like Andrew afterwards.
And I love that you did that. You know, I have two things that I want to add to this. One, I'm all about gathering at the table. You know, there's something intimate about breaking bread with people, whether you're just being in that setting, whether there's a meal or not a meal, but being in that setting together with people. You know, no social media, no devices, and just getting to know people is incredible. And I love doing that. Like that's just amazing. But you were making me think when you were talking about, you know, how it's kind of a proud mom moment, Lia, when you're watching, right, the group that you've put together to grow and evolve and go on, and then that's exciting to watch and see. And that's how we feel about the people that are in our network and the people that have presented with us. Like that's what we want for them. We've often said, this is not the Tanya and Damien show. This is about who's here. This is about Lia. This is about the people that are in the network, because that's what we want to see. That's who we want to see excel and grow. That's who we want to see move on with great success. And if we're just kind of a tool in the way of that, that would make us so delighted, you know? So I get that. I mean, I really kind of felt that feeling that you were feeling, or what that you were expressing.
Yeah.
How you feel when you see that connection continue that you helped foster.
It's such like a rewarding reinforcement that like you're doing the right work when you do that, right? Like the
Yes.
fact that you all are designing something that's so outward and so about the other people, to me, that's real community. And I think like that's what's like so important. There can't be enough communities right now, you know, like that's not a competitive, in my opinion, that shouldn't be a competitive thing, right? Like that is like everyone needs something. And the more that you have curators and designers who can think about what it takes to create a community, and it's designed for those people to see each other and like be mirrors to each other, is yeah, I think it's just like you cannot have enough of those right now.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like sometimes we're so connected, yet sometimes we're so far away, right?
Yeah, you said that before. That really stuck with me when you said that the other day.
Yeah, exactly. My gosh, I just want to thank everyone that's commenting in the audience and being a participant here. Like, you know, Guy, thank you so much. I appreciate your comment here. We really try to keep that. Nick, who is with us, I know she's proud of her writers when they go through and, you know, blaze their path, and Christy and Charles, thank you for joining us today. John, nice to meet you and glad that you joined us today. Jackie Hallberg, Christy Williams, Leslie Flowers, Melanie Richards, thanks so much for being here. We appreciate you all. Christopher, thank you. Meryl, thanks for joining us as well. I think, and if I missed you, Gaurav, thank you for being here. Tanya Davis, good to see you. We kind of just recently reconnected again in the chat. And Melanie, thank you for being here with us. Leanna, thank you so much. It's great to see everyone in this audience. If I missed you, sometimes when I go back in and read the comments, they pop up there for me, but maybe not always here. But I think Marianne, thank you. I love it. Thank you so much for being here and supporting us and Leah, as we get to know Leah better, or I get to know Leah better. So tell us, like, that table, did you want to talk any more about the table, Damien?
You whatever you want to go with this.
Well, I want to know, like, what did little Leah want to be growing up? What was her vision of her life?
Little Leah wanted to be a dancer.
Same.
Yeah. So we should start a dance club? Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm in. Why did you want to be a dancer? Tell me more.
I loved it. I mean, well, and who didn't love Grease? I mean, they were dancing in Grease. We were dancing to the record. I don't know. It's fun. How about you?
Fun. What'd you say, Damien?
Oh, for the slight second, I was like, Grease the place. And then I was like, oh, okay, the song, the musical movie.
The movie, Grease.
Yeah, no, so good. Yeah, I wanted to be a dancer. And then in 7th grade, I was in, and I told you how old I am. We were in typing class, and my teacher asked us to write a piece about like what we were going to be when we grew up, like what was going to be our career. And I wrote about how I was going to be a professional dancer, and she failed me and told me I had to write a realistic career. So that was pretty heartbreaking, but that's not why I quit. But
being an educator myself, I'm just going to apologize for that person. I'm sorry.
It's okay. She probably just had a bad day.
Awful experience.
I know, but 7th graders are rough. So I can look back and go, wow, we were probably pretty hard on her. But I don't know. Baby Leah just wanted to be a dancer.
Yeah. Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Cool. I enjoyed that. I did that all the way till I was 17. So I enjoyed it a whole lot. It was really cool.
Nice.
It was a good time in life,
Yeah. It's just, it's like a place where your body, your mind can just like let go. And I don't know. Maybe that's reason to bring it back for all of us.
So I had a question. So you went from wanting to become a dancer to working in tech. How did that pivot happen? And before you answer that, we think about it, and we're going to talk real quick about the virtual wellness experience that's coming up.
And then I mute myself. Sorry about that. So we've got the virtual wellness experience coming March 20th and 21st of 2026. It is right around the corner. If you are interested in being a presenter to this amazing event, you can go to Creative Living Ideas website and click Virtual Wellness Experience. This image will come up. You can scroll down here. This tells you a little bit about the event. But if you want to be a presenter, you can click right here to apply. We've got a couple of different packages for presenters with different things that they can add to their presentation. This is new for us this year. So we've added some pieces for our presenters. As far as maybe being a vendor and having some additional social media spotlights and things like that for them. So we really want to highlight them. You can also, if you choose to be a sponsor for the event, you can click this. And if you would like to be a vendor for the event, you can click this. So if you don't want to present, but you've got a product or you've got, a course or something that you're interested in sharing with people or a business, you can click that. Also, if you want to get a ticket, early bird pricing goes until I believe it is next Tuesday, something like that, Damien?
Yes.
Yes, the 20th. So early bird pricing is $75 for the 2 days of the virtual event. Otherwise, it's $175 for general admission for the 2 days. You can also purchase a 1-day ticket. But we talk about all sorts of things. We've had in the past, it's a global event. We have presenters from around the world. Some of our presenters have been in this audience tonight from around the world with us. And, it's a great event. We've had about 22 to 26 presenters that present on topics of wellness, financial wellness, mental wellness, physical wellness, nutritional wellness, emotional, relational, like any type of wellness, we covered it. So yeah, come join us one way or another.
So my question was, you wanted to be a dancer, and you ended up starting your career in tech, and then you pivoted again. But how did you go from being a dancer to working in tech?
I don't know. What was I thinking? No, my parents got us a family computer pretty early. And I remember being like the one that would like always get on and check the email. Like I was always looking for those emails. We never got emails, but like I was like, I was just really fascinated. I was always kind of digging into folders and trying to figure out like what went where and how. And when I was in high school, my dad gave me the paper handout for the class schedule for the community college in our area and was like, you should look into computer science. And I kicked myself because back then I don't really know. Maybe I thought I didn't want to be made. This is so silly. I didn't want to be made fun of for like going to college classes while being in high school or like studying computers. And so I never went, but I was always just really fascinated and I did a lot of things. So I also had access to like the family camcorder and I would find ways to mash up videos on the computer and I would make really silly videos with those. And I made a MySpace page and learned a little bit about like hex codes and I don't know, like your very basic website development, but not real website development. I was never a website developer ever. When I went into tech, I was not a technical person. I was on the soft side of tech. So I actually studied communications in college. Like I steered very clear of the techie stuff, even though I was very technical. I shouldn't say very. I was creative technical. How about that? So when I went to go into my career, I stumbled into the things that I got into. I worked in a community college, actually a community college I was going to go to in high school. I worked there on the workforce development side of things, and I was fascinated by the startups we worked with, and they were all technical startups. And so I just slowly like fell more and more into the technical space, and then went on to work for 2 different tech boot camps, building their career programs. So I worked with a lot of tech companies, but again, on the people side of things, never the technical hard things. I did write code once and built a website through our technical boot camp, which was pretty cool. And I know a bit about, like product development and those things, but my work was really with the people. I really, really loved working with the folks who work in tech. They're brilliant minds. Really just excited me. And it felt like the Wild West. It felt like, I don't know, like anything was possible. So I think it all connects. It all makes sense. It just all fits into my little dreamer world, where I think we really can make anything we put our mind to.
Nice. I like that. Dr. Farron, you have a question?
No, I was just, kind of elaborating on that piece. You do have to be technical, right? To run a lot of these platforms, you have to understand how to do all of that. And so that is got to be really, really helpful for you as an entrepreneur.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
To be able to use that. So, even though you say you've kind of stumbled upon some of these things, I think it sounds like to me more like one thing led to the next thing, which led to the next thing, which led to the next thing, which if you look back in your rearview mirror and look at that path, right? That path probably makes a lot more sense than it probably did as you were hopping from stone to stone, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So being an entrepreneur is hard. It's challenging, right? Someone like me, I'm an educator. So I have a degree in education, administration, leadership, superintendency. That's what my doctorate is in. I do not have a business degree. I have had to learn business from the ground up, right? Grassroots business learning. So for you as an entrepreneur, was there a moment when it was hard for you, can you give us a story that helped you get through it to get you to where you are today?
I mean, I think I'm sure both of you experience this. Entrepreneurship is like, it's a roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
Like you're always going to have hard times and exciting times. And I feel like the hard times are often the ones we don't always talk about. I don't know. I mean, I think I'm torn between just sharing about like when I stepped away from my work, I was working, I've had my business since 2017. And so having the medical crisis and having to step away from it, I really wasn't sure if I could work again, like genuinely.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't sure what that meant. Like I wasn't prepared for that.
Mm-hmm.
And, as an entrepreneur, you rarely are, right? You're rolling with the punches and you can do a lot of like life planning things and still not be prepared for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I think those are the moments that shape you as a business owner, right? Like if you can come back and you can pivot and you can respond to the unexpected, that's where you're really successful or can be, or can relate to people. I find that to be one of the best things for me as a business owner. Because those hard times, it might not be the medical crisis. It might be something completely different, but it's something that causes you to take a step back, or maybe you had a bad market, right? Like the last several years have been hard for a lot of business owners.
Right.
And you have to keep, reinventing yourself or responding to the market and evolving. But yeah, I think I'll lean on that one. I think that one is the best one I can kind of share right now, because it did force me to lean into the work that I'm doing today. And I don't know that I would have done that otherwise.
Right. Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that with everybody. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Thank you. I learned so much from you. And I think we both learned a lot from each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you talked about the eye, and I know a lot of things that you do to kind of make yourself okay and be well. And so can you tell somebody a wellness tip that you live by? Because I know what your boundaries are, but most people don't know about some of the things you do to keep yourself grounded and centered and well.
It's a great question. Rest. I did not rest before. I was like, go, 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 go. I'm going to be on my computer all the time. Yes. Do you all both power through too?
I used to. I don't anymore.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Don't do it. Yeah, I remember there were times when early on, I was just in so much pain. I had no other choice but to rest. And I would get really upset because I was like, I'm not going to get this project done. I'm not going to be able to deliver this thing to the client. I'm going to be seen as like incompetent. And it's scary as a business owner to think those things, but then you rest and like, I got it done in like 10 minutes, right? Like, and so I just had to start trusting my body and listening to it and going down. And like, it's weird to tell people like, nope, can't do that. Paused for the day. I'm good. But I do find that my work is stronger and I get it done faster. And my brain is clear in the mornings. It's clear or whenever after I've rested. But yeah, rest is like absolutely key. And actually the other thing, this is important. This is a piece of rest. I find that my most creative ideas come when I pause. And when I really do, just like sometimes I'll literally just lay on the couch and close my eyes. I'm not sleeping. I'm just not doing anything. And then all of the things that I was like pushing so hard to solve, they kind of fall together and they just figure themselves out. But I wouldn't have done that if I didn't just pause. So it's like a +1 piece of advice.
And you're also really big at utilizing your calendar and structuring it really well.
Oh yeah. Oh, I can't function without it. This is probably the hardest thing that's happened since my eye is my memory is not what it used to be. I used to have a very visual memory and I could really remember every detail. And it was really awful for anybody that had ever said anything negative to me ever, because I will remember it for the rest of my life. I can't remember anything anymore. So you're lucky. You could, do anything and I won't remember it. That's not true. But I have to write everything down and I have to structure everything on a calendar in a project management software. And it keeps me really organized, but it also helps me also delegate things and help other people play a role too. But all of those things really came out of this injury. And it's good for anyone though, from a wellness perspective, to keep things organized, because then it's not up here. You're not wasting space up here. Is that what you mean, Damien? That was your question, right?
Yeah, I like
Okay.
that. Thank you for saying that.
My
So then also,
over-organization.
yeah, Leah puts like it's within a frame. It's put together. She structures what she's gonna do. She's gonna work on like being creative. She has creative days. She has project days. She has meeting days and times. She's like really structured.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love that. That's amazing. And I do, today was a lazy day for us here. We've been on the go the last 4 days, and the hubs and I said, we're doing nothing except for this. And I was working on my computer while he was watching football. And
he was up like 12 a.m., Dr. Farron.
What?
He was up like 1 o'clock.
Did I respond to you then?
Yes, like 12:01. So if that's your lazy day.
I like these lazy days.
It was a lazy day. Anyhow, my point for that saying is all of a sudden I was working, and then I said, I've got to step away. Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do next. So I had to walk away and go to another room and then I'm like, oh, I know what I need to do next, or I know what I want to do next, right? Kind of giving that time to stop and think, like you said, and that there's that pause that you can have in your life where you've got to let everything kind of stop so that you can start thinking through everything. And I'm with you, girl. I live by a calendar, like all day long, that's how I want to roll,
Yeah.
I love that. How about you, Damien?
My calendar is extremely important to me, and the alerts. Like I've noticed, like, if my alerts are not in place, my calendar is not in place, it's kind of rely on those things. Now I've been setting more of alarms because my calendar is not pinging the way it does sometimes. So I'm setting more alarms. So that's the kind of structure that kind of works for me. And also kind of figuring out, doing the work in my head a lot helps. So I'm already prepared and doing on the front end. So that kind of works for me.
Mm-hmm. I do love that. I put calendar meetings on Damien's calendar.
Yes.
And
it's helpful. I appreciate it.
And that's what he's like. He's like, if this is on the calendar. And I'm like, right, yes, it's on the calendar, right. He's like, you put it on the calendar. I did.
I really appreciate
it.
Calendars are magical.
Yeah.
Right? What did we do before we could do that for each other? Amazing.
We have been going through this process and moving 54 minutes in. We're almost at the end. I want to know, I want to know what's next for Lia. And
yeah, we're still going strong. My team and I, we've been producing a series called Strangers on the Street, which is a play off of the Traveling Table. We use the same cards that Damien referenced. They're a 2-deck card game that I co-produced, co-designed. My co-creator is Jessie Starenshus from the Improv Effect. She's also amazing. And we created these cards that have curious cards and story starters. And I use them for Strangers on the Street to understand like more about people that we should be slowing down to pause and learn about. We are now taking that into really like pushing dialogues. Like we want to be a resource for people who are betting on humans. And like, what does that actually mean? Like, what does it mean to put people first while technology is like blowing full speed ahead? And I love tech. We've already talked about that. I love the tech industry. And I think there's a lot of value in investing in the people that you have either on your team, in your community, around your world. And that's what we do. So we create experiences, we provide frameworks and infrastructure, we go in and we provide trainings and teach really, in my opinion, simple tools that are overlooked, that are undervalued, and make all of the difference in the world for people coming together. So that's what's ahead. We're going to keep filming. We're going to keep working with teams and hopefully help more people find each other in 2026.
Nice. I want to be able to share this clip real quick. Doing strangers on the street. I have to make sure I share audio. Audio is shared and click the button. Can you see?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Used to sharing with people. I wasn't used to sharing with people that was so personal. And the fact that I have a disability, being able to say I have a disability, I wasn't able to do that until very shortly before we had the dinner. And being able to own that in the dinner was a catalyst for me to actually move forward with the kind of work that I want to do. I had a few tears, mainly because I felt seen, I felt heard, I felt felt. I wasn't.
That is actually Day Day, who was at one of our dinners, and she came to chat with us about what's happened since and what came out of her dinner experience. And Day Day is just amazing.
So you are still doing the dinners?
Yes, we are still doing the dinners. We haven't filmed a dinner in a while, but we are still doing the dinners.
Nice.
Yeah.
And can you drop in the LinkedIn chat after this episode and show everybody where they can get a hold of you, how they can find you, where are you most active? That was obviously a YouTube channel. So feel free to drop in your website in one comment, your YouTube channel in another, things like that. Let's get some people to hop in there because I know this audience is going to want to dig into this a little bit more. I can tell. And I've watched your videos. They're pretty incredible. You know, they really are. They're maybe one day I'll get to be at your table. That would be.
I would love that.
I would
We'll
love
bring
that.
it to you.
I love that. That is very cool. That would be really cool. I love this.
Yeah, that would definitely be great. So that was definitely a clip of the table and follow-up. Those follow-up conversations are so great because we did the opportunity and we got together to talk after the table, everybody who was on it. And those conversations are so great to have. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of those conversations happen and more of those follow-ups from those dinner experiences also. So we're close to the end, and we always close with a quote. What is that quote you want to leave people with?
This is one of my favorites. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world, by Harriet Tubman.
Nice. Dr. Farron?
Yes. One small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
My quote, I'm going to go with, oh, reliable. Don't let 10 minutes of a bad moment disrupt the other 23 hours and 50 minutes of your day. That is what the 2350 network means. Those people who didn't know what the 2350 numbers mean, that is what it is. Don't let 10 minutes of a bad moment disrupt the other 23 hours, 50 minutes of your day. Make every minute of every day count. The 2350 Network. It's time to bring people together.
We love that quote.
That is beautiful.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Leah, it has been such a pleasure to get to know you tonight. So thank you for being here. I am just greatly appreciative. You're an amazing human.
Thank you for having me. This has been so phenomenal. You both are incredible. And the work that you're doing to bring people together and provide this space is just so necessary. So thank you.
all right. So thank you, Dr. Fair. You want to thank the audience? I know you're really good at that.
Yes, I do. I want to thank Dr. Michelle for being here, and Bill and Guy for all of your interaction, and Christy so much. And I saw a new person, Josh Werner. Thank you for joining us as well tonight. So many of you amazing people in the audience supporting us. We can't do this without you. William, thank you for popping in. A couple of LinkedIn users. One might be Damien. I know that we had Leslie Flowers and Jackie Hallberg here as well. Nick was here for a bit. She was having some LinkedIn tech issues, but excited to have everyone. Charles Phillips spent some time with us. Melanie tonight. Christopher. So many amazing people helping to support us, and we appreciate that. We hope everybody has a great Sunday, whether this is the start of your day. I know Al was also on here from Malaysia, so he's probably just getting up, or it's the middle of the night for him, one of the two. And if you're, this is the end of your Sunday evening, I hope you have a great week. Thanks for joining us. We will be back next week.